we are moving into the last section where we'll be discussing the case-based questions. You will be getting 3 case-based questions for 4 marks. Each question will carry 4 marks, and in that question we'll be getting subdivisions. 2 questions will be for 1 mark and 1 2-mark question will be there. And for the 2-mark question, you will be having one choice. An internal choice will be there for all the questions. So these 3 questions, they'll be asking from arithmetic progression. 1 question will be from arithmetic progression, 1 from application of trigonometry, and 1 question will be from coordinate geometry. So these are the focus area that you need to look into. And coordinate geometry related questions, they'll be giving you one graph. And from that graph, there will be a picture, statement of certain things, it's located here and there, and you need to find the midpoint. That will be one question. So for example, 4 persons being seated in a tile where alternate tiles being colored in 2 different colors, for example blue and white, and their corresponding locations can be fixed based on the coordinate axis. And from the axis, on getting the location, you can fix the distance between, you can find the distance between any 2 of them using the distance formula. Also you can apply the section formula, you can apply the midpoint formula, and that will be the question based on coordinate geometry. And we have discussed many questions. There are certain questions in your exercise itself that says the same type of question. Another question, it's from the application of trigonometry, where one situation will be given to you. For example, a ship is approaching a mountain, and a person standing on the deck of the ship, it's watching something on top of the mountain, and his angle of elevation is so and so, and a person is walking through the shores, and he is observing the person. At some point of time, his shadow will be at certain angle, and that will be the pattern question that must be expected for the board. That type of questions will be asked from the application level, heights and distance. That questions will be there. And arithmetic progression, we studied 2 formulas in that. Finding the nth term, an is equal to a plus n minus 1 into d. And one more formula for finding the sum. So some situation will be given to you. For example, it can be the numbers divisible by 3. Again, in that question, another thing will be there. You'll be given one range. In that range, how many of them will happen? And certain questions in the exercise itself, the last optional exercise, there is one question based on a ladder. The wood that's required for building the ladder, if the wood cost per meter, they will be giving you some rates. Based on the rate, you need to calculate the total cost for construction of the ladder. And the ladder height will be increasing in such a way that each rack will be in a common difference. And based on the situation, you need to find it. Also, the logs will be arranged in an order, and spoon race questions are there in the exercise. You need to focus on the optional exercise in arithmetic progression, where a lot of these kind of questions being given to you. We can discuss few of those questions in this video. The next question, it's from arithmetic progression. A ladder has rungs 25 cm apart. The rungs decreases uniformly in length from 45 cm at the bottom to 25 cm at the top. If the top and bottom rungs are 2 and 1/2 meters apart. So in this question, the distance between the top and bottom rungs, it's 2 and 1/2 meters. That is 5/2 meter. On converting that to centimeters, you'll be getting that by 250 centimeters. So in 250 centimeters, it's given that ladder has 25 centimeters apart. There will be one rung. So on dividing this by 25, we'll be getting the number of rungs by adding 1 with this. So that will be 11 rungs will be there in the ladder. And it is decreasing as per arithmetic progression. So the question is to find the length of foot required for the rungs. For that, we have the first rung length and the last rung length. Now we have the total number of rungs. So by using the SN formula for finding the sum of an AP, sum to n terms of an AP, we can find the total length of rungs. On getting the total length of rungs by n/2 into a plus L or 2a plus n minus 1 into d, you will be getting the length of foot that's required for construction of the rungs. The second question given here, it's about the cost of foot per meter. The total cost you need to estimate. The cost per meter is 100. So on getting the total length, multiply with 100, you will be getting the cost. And again, the third question, I have given one question here, wood for completing the ladder. So in that, we need to consider the total height of the ladder. So that type of question can be expected based on the arithmetic progression. So this is just one question from the optional exercise. There are a few questions given in the optional exercise. Just go through that. All those questions in the optional exercise can be expected as a case-based question from arithmetic progression. So we have discussed few questions from heights and distance, application of trigonometry. This is one case-based question that you can expect from application of trigonometry. The question says the angle of elevation of a cloud from a point 60 meters above the surface of the water of a lake is 30 degree and the angle of depression of its shadow in water of lake is 60 degree. Find the height of the cloud from the surface of the water. So I have given you the figure corresponding to that. So based on that, we'll be getting certain questions from this, and these questions will be case-based questions. And one thing you need to focus, the angle of depression that's forming will be forming in, it's not like the normal angle of elevation. If it is an angle of elevation, it will be forming inside the triangle. But when it's an angle of depression, this will be 30 degree. You cannot take this as 30 degree. And that 30 degree will fall here, not inside this. So don't make this mistake. You need to answer the question based on the figure. Once you get the triangle, you will be able to answer whatever the question that will be asked based on the question. And we have discussed few questions in the detailed section of application of trigonometry. The video is already there in the playlist and you can have a reference on those videos. And we'll be having certain questions from the application of trigonometry. All those questions can be expected as a case-based question. From coordinate geometry, I'll read one question for you. Students of a school are standing in rows and columns in their playground for a drill practice. A, B, C, and D are the positions of the students, 4 students, as shown in the figure. It is possible to place Jaspal in the drill in such a way that he is equidistant from each of the 4 students, A, B, C, and D. If so, what should be his position? So this is that question. So for this question, they have given one graph based on the location of A, B, C, and D. So you know these questions. Now you are familiar with these questions. So A, B, C, D will be somewhere here. And from this, it's clear that A and D will be having the same y coordinate. They'll be having separate x coordinate. So on getting a point A, D, C, and B, how to locate x and y coordinate? Just look into the x-axis. Just below, vertically down, you will locate one point that will give you your x. And horizontally, when you look into this y-axis, you will get one point here. That will give your y coordinate. So in that way, you can fix all the coordinates A, B, C, and D. The question given here, there is one point in such a way that we can place Jaspal in that point such that the distance from that point to all these locations, it's the same. So you can answer this question based on the distance formula, where the distance formula is root of x2 minus x1 the whole square plus y2 minus y1 the whole square. And this is one of the first type of question that you can expect. And we know the section formula. When a line segment joining 2 points A and B, there is a point P such that P will be dividing the line segment in the ratio m1 is to m2, so that we can locate the coordinates of P, x and y. X will be equal to m1 x2 plus m2 x1 all divided by m1 plus m2. Since it is m1 here, you must take A as x1 y1 and B must be taken as x2 y2. The same way, The way that we got x, we can find the value for y. Just replace wherever you find x with y, you will get the y coordinate. So that's the section formula. And if the point P is the midpoint, the division will be 1:1. So M1 will be equal to 1 and M2 will be equal to 1. In that case, you will get the midpoint formula. And the midpoint formula is x2 plus x1 by 2 and y2 plus y1 by 2. That will give you the midpoint. And this is for the y coordinate, y2 plus y1 by 2. So based on these, you will be getting the question. And if the ratio is not given in the question, you must find the ratio by substituting for m1 is to m2 by k is to 1. So these things you need to remember, and you need to focus on these type of question, and that will be there for sure.